I'm going to present about what the campaign here, or campaign against the deep sea tailing. First of all, my name is Warime Guti. For those who don't know me, my profession, my area is mostly in the IT communications. Being in the campaign is more of my passion, and being from a local here, it's more about our life, our connectivity to what it is, what it means to us. And being part of the church as church, the value of the church and the message of the church encompasses the campaign and our call to be stewards of the creation. So there are things that in that are more technical areas, in the areas of science and others are being able to be part of the campaign and with others. It also helped me learn a lot in that, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert in that. But being from a community here, that is where my standing is with this campaign as locally as a Christian in this campaign against deep sea. So yes, I work here at the head office of EFH. I believe most of you have been to Papua. I was just asking Julia about it. So my presentation, the first part I tried to introduce Papua New Guinea, but I think most of you know PhDs. I'll skip through and I'll go straight to point. So basically this is the slide. Let's see. So you all know where Papua New Guinea is, so I don't need to, but just an overview. We know we have about 10 plus million people. Land area is about 400,000 square kilometers. We know most population in the rural areas and extractive industries are the most common major contributors to the economy. I think we all know that very well. Yes, in the extractive industries, we have the main petroleum, aluminum mining, logging, and others. We specifically on that. I was just putting that as an introduction. Currently in Papua New Guinea, we have about 8 mines from what I checked, 8 mines that are currently active and operating. I think if I missed something, some of you might know others. You can help me, correct me, but these are the what I have, 8 mining in Papua New Guinea. And these are the possible future mining in Papua New Guinea, 8 of them. I might miss some, or if I miss something, you can also correct me, but these are possibly the next mines that will come up in the near future. So I think most, if you have not heard about Wafi-Golpu, it is a project that is yet to start, a mining project. One of those 8 that is yet to start that I showed earlier. It is a joint venture between a Harmonic Gold from South Africa and Australian Newcrest. As of last year, a Newmont and US-based mining company has purchased Newcrest. So it is now a joint venture between Harmony and Newmont at the moment. It is estimated to start with a capital of US 18 billion. So that is, and there's an overview of the Wafi-Golpu mine. Yes, so they plan to use the deep sea tailing placement as its method of waste disposal, and with the pipe running about 103 kilometers down. And over with the pipe will carry toxic tailing waste from the mine down through densely populated area city that has a population of about 300,000. That is inclusive of Leh and the surrounding community. That is apart from the coastal marine communities. I'll get to that as we go on. So, okay. So what are the tailings? If you have already known, but just an overview again. So when mining, there's usually waste leftover recovery from copper and gold, and the waste includes rocks and tailings. It is a method. That's the method of Wafi-Golpu on managing that. That is the consent that is in this campaign. So DSTP is basically where the tailing of the mine transferred by pipe away from the mine and dumped into the sea, and that's what Wafi-Golpu plans to do. The tailing are not dumped at the surface of the ocean, but dumped in. Companies say the tailing will not affect marine life below 200 meters. So that's what the company keeps on saying. So their pipe usually goes in the depth of 200 meters, and they say below that there's no life. This is what it looks like. It's sourced from the Wafi. So this is what they call a mixing tank. The tailing comes and they mix them with the salt water and then dumps it into the sea. So that's just an impression of what how they process it before they dump it into the sea. Is DSTP allowed elsewhere in the world? Only few countries in the world allow DSTP. Most countries don't allow mining waste to be dumped into the rivers or ocean. The impacts of DSTP has not been studied a lot and research. So yes, it's still something that's not really been understood yet. DSTP is not allowed in Australia as the nearest, the Newcrest is an Australian company. If the waste dumped in the sea in Australia, even just a small amount, companies would be fined. So that's what we have learned from some of our partners in Australia. Even Newcrest is from Australia, but regardless of that fact, they still propose DSTP in Papua New Guinea. And yes, I think we also know that out of, I think, 10 mines in Papua that use DSTP, almost 5 of them, or I think 5 of them are in operation in Papua New Guinea. So if you just go to Google and you try to search deep sea tailing placement, you will realize that most of the content that you see are from Papua New Guinea, and PNG is becoming like the heaven of deep sea tailing placement. Most of the mining in Papua New Guinea are using deep sea tailing placement to um, dump the waste into the sea. So there are many contributing factors with our laws and other things as well as contribute to the companies being able to always propose and the government accept give them permit to do so. Some impacts of the mining waste so far. We just giving just an overview of one of the mine that uses the STP in Papua New Guinea in 2009. There was a spill, and you can see the color of the sea that was in 2019. There are other cases of other uh, uh, such issues with waste disposal of mining, but I just pick one or two just to show. But this was in 2019. It was a big issue that even there were some scientists that did some research, but then there's usually the politics of it that comes and it just suppresses it down and then nothing more. And we had nothing again about that spill and the report that was done in 2019. And this was from Panguna in Bougainville. I got it from an extract from another PowerPoint just to show what it looks like. The Panguna mine. I think if you most of you in Papua New Guinea, you know already what Panguna is and Bougainville is. So this is just given a picture to show what it is. So tailing have been dumped in rivers in PNZ, not only in the sea but also in the rivers. They dump like the Octady mine been dumping in the Playa River for so many years, and it has I think for those who you have been following Papua, you know about it. There was a court fine, and I think BHP was the company, and then also the Panguna. It led to the other issues that evolved around based on the mine waste cost. From the mine waste, it led into other issues. In 2006, a law reform commission report made reviews on the laws to ban riverine. So there was already some work done by with the government agency, the Law Reform Commission, to review laws to ban riverine tailing and deep sea tailing disposal. However, there was no political will to make it into a law, sort of typing around. And the report is still idle in the government itself. So this is to date, it's still something that is been ignored, I think, by the politicians of the day, and it's still there. So back to Wafi. Now that I kind of given you an overview already that they will be using the STP and it will be coming down about 103 kilometers down. So I'm just going to show you some more detail of that. So this is a map. I believe you're all been to PNG, most of you, and you would have an idea. This is Leh, and Wafi would be somewhere up here if you have traveled, for those who have been to Papua New Guinea, travel up the highway and you've been along the highway to 40 Mile on the Makam Valley, you would see it just across towards towards the south, you would see the mountain range there. That is where roughly Wafigolpu is. So it's somewhere up here in the mountains. But the waste will be piped down, across the Makam River down and along this. So the red ones are the main highway from Leh to, this is the highway to Bulolo, and this is the main highway out to the highlands. For those who been to PNC, you would know. So that basically the mining will be up here, but the waste will be dumped here near the mouth of the Bushu River. So the pipe will be here, the mine will be here, the pipe will come, the waste pipe will come down somewhere here and then follow the road down and into Lake. So that is that is how they plan to dispose the waste, processing it up here and then dumping it down there. So the mining would be a gold mine, gold and copper mine, and they will be mining it up here, and then I think there will be slurries down, and there will be a processing plant also in the Leh port as well. So oh dear, this is more outside, more detailed image that you can see. The mine site is here, and the yellow is the pipe that will come down. This is the big river, Makam River, that it will cross, comes across. This is Tifasing, for those you know, and it will come down all the way. So this is about roughly 103 kilometers coming down and right into Leh, then goes through and to Wagang, Sipaya, just behind where the head office of the Lutheran Church is. It will run right through where, if you've been to Leh already and you know Ampo, where Ampo is, and Balok Teachers College, right in the middle where there's the main road is the pathway. That's where the pathway of the pipe will run through. So this is how it is. This is extracted from the mining, the Wafigolpu mines environmental impact statement, this map, and as it is there. So you can see it's not just running right through where there's villages, there's people around, and so where you see the white dots are where the settlements are, people are, village and settlements. So how will that pipe get to the ocean? And so this is a close-up view of how the pipe will run into Leh City. And again, this is from an extract from the Wafigolpu's EIS. It's online. So even before it goes into the sea, I mean, we talk about deep sea tailing, and we are so conscious about what happens in the sea and the marine life in the coastal community. But before it even goes into the sea, the risk of it running on land where it gets through densely populated. Leh has a population of about 200,000 plus people. And even along the pipeway coming down, there might be another 100,000. So you're looking at about 300,000 plus people on the pathway of where the pipe runs at a certain risk already before the pipe even gets into the sea, and poses another risk to the marine life and to the well-being of those in the coastal communities. So you can see where the pipe comes down, it runs through. For those who've been to Leh, you will can have an idea of what these are roads and the maps are. So basically, it runs through the city. This is the map of the city. So Leh is also known for now. We've been experiencing a lot of earthquake because we are just near the plate boundaries. The plate boundaries just near Leh, so the experiences of earthquake has been something that we've felt a lot, and this is also a concern. There's also, apart from the tailing that will be dumped in Wagang, this is the processing plant here in Leh Port. So there will be the pipe coming down, and there is going to be slurries of minerals will be coming into the processing plant while the waste will continue on. So basically, there will be two pipes coming down. One will go into the port facility for processing, and it will be shipped off. And then the tailing will continue on until it gets to here from Wagang, and then it will be dumped into the sea from here, 200 meters. From here to here, it's about, I think, 200 meters, and then it dumps into the sea. And I believe from the technical, there will be another pipe going up, would be the fuel. So that is like 3 pipes all the way for 103 kilometers. So that is a lot of risk in itself, even for having fuel been run through that long distance with the risk of earthquake, and Leh is also prone to a lot of rain, and there have been recently a lot of floods as well. So these are some of the risks that also poses to the pipe already being on land. And there's another ways that we have already come to also realize that from here, when they process the slurries before they put them on ship, there will be about some waste water would also be dumped here. So that is another thing apart from the tailing that will be dumped at Wagam. So I'm just giving an impression. If you've been to Leh, so the pathway, this is where the Leh Stadium is, and if you see the red line, that's the road coming, but that is where basically the pathway of the pipe will come through. This is just an example. It comes from this part all the way here, and it gets to here. So these are residential areas, as you can see. This is a stadium, of sporting facility where people play, and we have the Angao Memorial Hospital. The General Hospital is somewhere there, and this is where some of the top town in Leh is here. So this is this is one of the facility of the church here, Asia Way. So this is where the pipe will come through, just giving it full photo percent. And this is where the main market is. It is a local market where, I mean, for those who have been to Leh, you know, local market, we have fresh fruits, fresh goods from organic goods from the highlands, and they all come here. And you can see people are crowded here. And you can see that the red line is where the pipe will come, and it will pass through the road near where the people are. Usually it's like 7 days, or not 7, 5 days a week during the week. People are always here for the market and doing other businesses. So that is where the pathway of the pipe will come right through. That is where it's showed on the map, but we don't know how they will construct it, whether they will dig up the road and bury it in the land, or they'll have it up. Yeah. So this is how the pipe comes down before it even gets into the sea. It's already a risk in itself. Yes, so as the pipe, the mine waste will be about 360 million tons of mining waste will be dumped here for 28 years. So this is where it will go down. So this is the 20. That is according to the environmental impact statement of the company. So they have applied for a 28-year lease, and I think they're yet to get the mining license there. The environmental permit was already approved. So, yep, I think that image I've already shown you. The tailing will be dumped into the ocean by a pipe 200 meters below the surface. But these are all from the mine's environmental impact statement. The pipe will discharge the waste into the ocean approximately 1 kilometer from Sipaya Beach. That's from the beach, but this is how they will do it. I think I'm mixing it here just to those who are more technical with the science would know this is, they're mixing with the salt water just to have the right density so the tailing would sink down to the depth of the sea. So it's basically mixing with the salt water, not treating the tailing into something that is not so toxic, but it's just mixing it with salt water to dilute it and maybe get the right density that the tailing gets to the bottom of the sea and stays down there. That's what they're saying. It will stay down there, but it will be at the mercy of what happens down under the sea. Most those who are, I showed you the image of Basamuk earlier. When it spilled, it turned red because the sea there is usually blue, or it's like it's a clear sea. And when the spill happened, it was very obvious because the sea turned red. But in where Wafigol will be dumping, and those who have been here to Leh, you know, the sea here near the mouth of the Busu River is usually cloudy and muddy. So if anything happens, you can't even tell whether something is spilling out or not. So yeah, that is also another concern as well on that. So here, so the company says the tailing will drift down into the underwater canyon. So they, sorry, I did not have an image here, but they believe there is a, not they believe, but there is a big canyon, big ditch right in the Huon Gulf. And they believe that the tailing will go into that canyon, it will stay down there. But there hasn't been enough research, or enough science research that has been done to really prove this. And another thing is that when they did the studies, it was mostly the scientists that were engaged by the company. So even the government agency, the PNG government agency, the SIPA has not done something for parallel study or something to verify these claims. It just accept it as, yes, it's true, it's going to happen that way. So that is, for us, there's so many uncertainties because of there's not been enough studies done to really guarantee that these things that has been assumed are going to be true or not. And that will have, and we will see the effect of it. So yeah, so the, Professor Ralph Mana, as I mentioned him, he is a marine biologist from the University of Papua New Guinea. He has done some research himself along the Huon Gulf and has provided some peer review to the environmental impact statement to the government to relook at all the red flags that he said, the red flags on this environmental impact statement from Wafigorpo. But the government seemed to ignore his, so we get some of our facts from his paper and his research. With his permission, we continue to share with others. And that's what he said, that less than 10% will get into the under canyon. So meaning that 90% are at the mercy of the waves and the undercurrent and the upswelling and all this. There's so many technical terms that they use, but basically at the mercy of nature that can be unpredictable at sometimes. Yeah, so he thinks that due to the ocean currents, the tailing will spread 30 kilometers in every direction. So this is kind of an impression of what he said. So this is Lay, and he thinks that 30 kilometers out, these places would face the impact of it as time goes by. So this is where Busamang is, for those who know Busamang, and Labu is there. So this is somewhere near, I think, Bukawa, big place. And so that's within that reduced, it says, from according to Professor Ralph Mana from the University of Papua New Guinea, the impact within that radius could be felt much more than further out. So I think this is also to know these places are also known for the nesting of the leatherback turtle. So leatherback turtle, one of the endangered species of turtle, usually comes to these shores to lay eggs and all this. So this is the waste itself is also a threat to this the leatherback turtle that finds comfort in nesting on the nice beach here in Busamang and the nearby beaches. So other tailing poisonous, so working with other partners as well and gathering information from them. This I extract from some of the they've put together. So Wafigorpo tailing include heavy metals. This include arsenic, lead, mercury, chromium, manganese, cadmium, all this that you can see. And these are all from the environmental impact statement. But the company hasn't said how much of each heavy metal will be done. And during the period of the campaign with our other partner from Australia, Jubilee Research Institute, they did reach out to the company, and we did had some meetings with the companies. They asked those technical questions to know some more details into those what they have stated in the environmental impact statement have not been enough. So I wanted more detail into how much of those metals are being to be in the tailing that will be dumped in the sea. But it seems the company has not been open with some of this information. But the environmental impact statement also is a 6,000-page document. So for us, common Papua New Guinea people in the village and citizens around Lay City, we don't really understand this document that really contain all this scientific facts about the chemicals and if it is dangerous or not and all these things. So with the help of such other partners like Jubilee, really honestly, they asked some of these real questions to the company, but it seems they have been ignoring to answer those questions, avoiding to answer those questions. So we've taken note that it's something that the company didn't want to share much on. So the exposure to some of these heavy metals can have bad impacts on the environment and human health. And the exposure to lead is dangerous. There's not been enough science to show that heavy metals will not accumulate in the environment and in the food chain. So they kind of assume that the toxic will be dumped in the sea and it will suddenly, how would I say, miraculously disappear in the sea or something, but not enough studies show that how it will bioaccumulate. So smaller creatures down at the bottom of the sea, it maybe consume little bit of that, but as a bigger, more higher, uh, higher in the food chain starts to consume more of the smaller creatures, the concentration level increases. I don't know the technical of it, but there's the layman's understanding that over time, maybe in the next, not now, but 20, 30, 40, 50 years time, we might see traces of the toxic waste in the bloodstream of humans, maybe. Maybe for now, when it is done, maybe the company would already be close, getting all the money going away, and then suddenly we will start to see the effect of it. But who do we hold accountable to that? So these are kind of concerns that when we come to expose to kind of information, it makes people think, oh, the company comes and go, but how can they be held responsible if it's not clear now? So yeah, so these are some concerns, and there are more. How much waste will be dumped? I think we try to put this into perspective. Like I said, 360 million tons of tailing over 28 years. So from our partners from Jubilee, they try to put this into perspective when we present these to people. So this is more than 3,500 airfield towers, which is placed end to end, would stretch from New Zealand to China. So that's kind of an uh, giving that as an perspective to people to see what 360 million tons of tailing over 28 years looks like or feels like. Will anything else be dumped? The company will also dump billions of liters of filtrate. I think I saw the map and I said, apart from the tailing that we were talking about, there would be billion liters of filtrate at Layport. And this is another concern as well, and it wasn't so much being made clear by the company. They never even mentioned it, but it is in the environmental impact statement that through working with our partners, they identified, and we're also bringing out some questions to the company, but the company kind of held back, did not even give much. They were not giving a lot of it. They only said that they will dump it according to the laws of the country, but how they will do it, what is to be dumped, how much of it, the company has not exactly said exactly how much will be dumped. They have just said they will dump 30 liters per second for 28 years, and that is counting it by days, some millions of tons. So the company has not really assessed the impacts of that, and this is very wrong in itself. And more of our people are not aware of most of these things. And this is part of the 6,000 page environmental impact statement the company released, and it was only been by our partners looking through it and coming up with questions, and then we realized that we did not even know about these things. So these are some of the this is another concern in itself as well. So yeah, basically the filtrate will be dumped here as I come back again here. The tailing will be dumped here. The 360 million tons of tailings will be dumped here. About 25 billion liters of filtrate dumped into the sea for about 20 years will be here. So that's calculated from what from the EIS they have stated. So 25 billion liters of filtrate, that is water that is contained. And people live here, and there is a village across the mouth of Makam River, just across there, and they they fish and they depend on the sea for their living. So that is a very risky practice that they're doing. So what we call will be expanded. So the mining has a potential to last more than 50 years, so it could be for 100 years. I think I didn't show much of the mining itself, but the mine has a lot of gold deposit in it. And the 28 years lease is a start. I think maybe according to the law they give this, but it has the potential to renew it. So we're looking at the 360 million tons is for 128 years, but if it goes beyond that, that is tons of tailing that we dumped in the in the sea and also the filtrate. So the company will be fairly easily get the mine approved to last longer. So as long as the country is now in a state of, I think Billy most of you follow, and you realize that we are in a economic crisis at the moment with the challenges of so many things. And the Wafi-Golpu mine is one of the, how would I say, the government has already put Wafi-Golpu has been using Wafi-Golpu maybe to get a lot of loans and all these things. So it is already tied their hands. So they are looking at ways to even approve it, and they did not even care or sit down to think again about the environment and the kind of risk because of the loans are already there, and Wafi-Golpu is the, how would I say, is there to, because of this Wafi-Golpu, the loans were taken. So if all is gold copper is mined, that means that the mine will go for many years. So yeah, so the mine has potential to last long. And now to the current status of the campaign, and the government is so desperate to give the mining license to the developer by mid of this year. It should have given the mining license since 2019-20, but our campaign has been one of the campaign that has also been causing the delay, as while we were holding on to the environmental permit. Discussing the mining license wasn't. There are other issues also regarding other matters of the around the mine area as well, and there are so many issues on that mining as well. The land issues, even locals on the mine site will be relocated. It is not clear about so much of these things yet. Even issues of land ownership, the government hasn't really meditate for the people to really see who owns the land and other things like it. This whole pending issues and even and the environmental issues that we talked about regarding the deep sea tailing placement. The campaign is focused on the waste management method, but as it prolonged and it held the process of the mine, it also gave ground to others who have other issues who are also having the time to come out. So, but the government is still so um, the government is so desperate, as we can say. So there are still some progressing legal cases. They are still pending human rights complaint in Australia, which through the campaign we have launched a human rights complaint in Australia through the partners in Jubilee Australia. And the complaint has already reached the government of Australia. They've I think one of the process is to call up a meeting between the developer and the complainant, which is us, the church, and our colleagues and partners. And the meeting was called up, but the company declined to participate. And then Nucleus was the company. And then that was last year. We should have had a roundtable with the grievance, the complainant, which is us, and the company, but we did not eventuate. They declined, and then towards the end of last year, the Nucleus sold its shares to Newmont, now a US-based company. The church continues with its campaign on the ground with the local community empowerment, awareness, and advocacy, facilitating locals to seek legal justice. So there is a legal case that the local communities have now taken up against the state. The church is kind of more facilitating it. So it is not the church taking the matter to court, but the legal the community themselves. So this is at the moment, there's also the legal case that one of our coalition partners, Selco, a legal NGO here in Papua New Guinea, is also still pursuing it in court. At this stage, the government is so, I mean, even the Morobe provincial government is doing so much, just really getting that thing going, and there's so much politics in it. There's so much, and it's really a concern that they can think of what the impact would be for the people. So yes, we're still fighting legal cases in the courts in PNC. In Australia, the church Self-Consumer made a complaint on behalf of the people, saying that the companies are breaking the OECD guideline of multinational corporation. The complaint is still going. Jubilee Australia will release a report about Africa to the media, and it is yet to come. So our coalition partners continue to support us to work with it. We work with the Jubilee Australia, Environment Defenders Office in Australia, and also Mineral Policy Institute. They've been helpful on us. With the church, we're mostly on the ground with the local communities and the other areas in that space up the kind of accompany and support. It's going to work on the ground, empowering communities to vocal, raise the voice of the people in the conferences and synod, and create platform for local communities to continue to speak out. So yes, at the recent synod up at Yalebu, the message was reaffirmed again that the church continue to stand. Yeah, the image here you can see, I think, for those who have been following that campaign, that was in 2019 when this other canoe was from Karkar, Pastor Mate Ibak, sailed all the way from Karkar. It's about, if I can recall, almost 100 kilometers by canoe we came. And this is a canoe by local young people here in Yabim district. Yabim district is the district that is impacted by the church district that is impacted by the would be impacted by the tailing. So this was a campaign that the community themselves took initiative to raise on a canoe, sailing from village to village and raising the message. And this is just some photos of young people who continue to speak out. So this is just a quote from one of our coalition partner, Evangelical, Jubilee Research Institute. Ocean Love the Ocean, yet 2 Australian companies dumped hundreds of millions of tons of money waste into the sea and pipe it through the streets of a major city. When I talk to anyone about this in Australia, everyone finds this shocking. This would never be accepted in Australia. It should not be accepted in Papua New Guinea. So we have the support, and we are so blessed that they continue to support. And so this is some of our communities that continue. Yes, so this comes to the end of my presentation. The coalition campaign website is NoWafi DSTD, where with our partners, coalition partners, we put some information of the campaign up there. So it's there if you want to see more information on the campaign. So thank you, Julia. I hope my presentation is not that long.